So we've got Israel and Hamas both mad at the International Criminal Court for arrest warrants. Are they going to make them sit down and hold hands or something? Netanyahu condemned this. He says Israel rejects with disgust the absurd and false actions by the court. France signaled it could arrest Netanyahu. Whoa, if it came to their territory. An arrest warrant has been issued for Netanyahu and Hamas officials, breaking out of the AP and everywhere. The International Criminal Court published their official statement here that we'll take a look at. But this is what the news is reporting. Netanyahu and many others condemning this. Even Hamas is condemning this arrest warrant. And so we've got Israel and Hamas both mad at the International Criminal Court for arrest warrants, which means this might be the first real shot at peace we've seen in some time. Let's see what the story says. It says the world's top war crimes court issued arrest warrants on Thursday for the leaders of Israel and Hamas. Are they going to make them sit down and hold hands or something? You two are going to sit down and work this out. Benjamin Netanyahu, arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court. Okay, this is not like Fannie Willis issued an arrest warrant. It's the International Criminal Court. All of them charged with crimes against humanity in connection with their war. The warrants against Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant focus on allegations that Israel has used food as a weapon. Israel denies this. Experts have warned that hunger has become widespread across Gaza, and so they've now been charged with a warrant. They say the death toll is 44,000. Their count does not differentiate between civilians. Netanyahu condemned this. He says Israel rejects with disgust the absurd and false actions by the court. In a statement released by his office, he said, there is nothing more just than the war that Israel has been waging in Gaza. The decision turns Netanyahu and others into internationally wanted suspects. Wow. And could further isolate them, as well as complicate efforts to negotiate a ceasefire. But its practical implications can be limited since Israel and its major ally, the United States, are not even members of the court. We're like, we don't care. Now, Israeli leaders, politicians, and officials across the spectrum denounced the warrants. The defense minister, Israel Katz, who replaced Gallant, said this is a moral disgrace. It's entirely tainted by anti-Semitism and drags the international judicial system to an unprecedented low. The warrants against both sides break through the perception, they said in a statement. The court also, where's the Hamas warrants? They're also getting arrested too. They also issued an arrest warrant for Mohammed Deif, head of Hamas's armed wing. It said it found reasonable grounds to believe that he was involved in the murder or the torture and others that were war crimes. In the Hamas attack, 1,200 eliminated, 250 hostages. Khan withdrew the request for warrants after 2 people were killed. He's like, oh, we can't issue warrants for them. They're dead now. Now they were issued by a 3-judge panel. That's amazing. So 3-judge panel. The panel said that there were reasonable grounds to believe that they are using food. There were legal briefs. They went through a whole thing. The International Criminal Court is a court of last resort that only prosecutes cases when domestic law enforcement cannot or will not investigate. Israel's not a part of the court. Now, despite the warrants, none of them are likely to face the judges in The Hague anytime soon. That's where Jack Smith came from. So just so you know what kind of entity this is. Member countries are required to detain suspects facing a warrant if they set foot on their soil, but the court has no way to enforce that. Like Putin has one too. Wow. Still, the threat of arrest now complicates things. What if Netanyahu wants to go to Europe or something? France signaled it could arrest Netanyahu. Whoa, if it came to their territory. Foreign ministry spokesman said, well, it's a complex issue, but said France could support the court's actions. Combating impunity is our priority, he said. Our response will align with these principles. France is going to arrest Benjamin? Israel's opposition leaders fiercely criticized the ICC's move. Benny Gantz, a retired general, and rivals said it was moral blindness, called this a prize for terror. Israel now says it puts no limits on the amount of supplies that go in. Lawyers for Israel argued in court that the war was legitimate, and so that's happening. And France is going to get involved? Here's their official post now. So this is from the ICC-CPI.international. The situation in the state of Palestine. The ICC pretrial chamber rejects Israel's challenges and issues warrants. This is their building. The chamber ruled on 2 requests. Israel challenged the court's jurisdiction, said we're not even part subject to you, you have no jurisdiction. They rejected it. They said we exercise our jurisdiction because we have jurisdiction over Palestine. And they issued warrants. Here you go. Crimes against humanity for Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu and Mr. Yoav Gallant. The arrest warrants are classified as secret, but we released the information. With regard to the crimes, the chamber found reasonable grounds to believe that he was born at that date, crimes of starvation, and using food as a weapon of war. Wow, this is interesting. So we know that France, for example, arrested the leader of Telegram, the CEO of Telegram, and he's a high-profile person. Is Israel now going to boycott France? And is this domino effect going to continue? Who else is going to be speaking about this on the global stage? Will other leaders commit to arresting Benjamin Netanyahu? And what will Israel do in response to that? Let's see.